Evening YouTubers, this is nixuser here, and I don't have a distro review for you tonight. However, there is something cooking. I better get that resumed. Okay, so no, this isn't going to be a tutorial on how to use rtorrent, because frankly I have a lot to learn about that torrent, but as you can see I do use rtorrent. As I said, I do. Try and avoid the GUI apps. As you can see, I'm doing the recording here from FFmpeg. However, that's not what I want to talk about. So, a long while ago, in fact, if I look at the videos and we go LFS, we'll be looking a while ago. That was back in January, 26th of January, that I did a video on Linux from scratch, and we had the 25th back then as well. So yeah, anyway, it's been a while. So what I want to tell you is, if we go onto distro watch, and we'll just give that a chance to load up. Well, it was a little bit a while back, and we might have to go over the page. I might not even find it at all, but yeah, there was a new release of LFS, Linux from scratch, and seeing as it is LFS, I'll just give it a chance to load up. You can see here that we're at version 7.9. Now, seeing as it is LFS, there's a little bit to it, but I did do the base install last night. Now I use automated Linux from scratch using JHalves, just simply because I've done the install that many times, and there's not much, I mean not that many times, probably about 4 or 5 times. There's not much for me to gain from doing the full install like completely myself. Some people say, oh, that's a cop out, rah rah. Well, you know, really it's for my own purposes. It doesn't really bother me what other people think, but yeah, I use JHalves, and you've got to use the SVN version, because the other version, the stable version, is actually quite frankly antiquated. Let's go and have a look at that. You see, we're looking at what, 2006, 2007, 2009. So really, quite frankly, antiquated. But the we've got the subversion 1, which is the trunk one, and yeah, you can install both LFS and BLFS source packages from it. Now, it's not really a package management system at all. It just does the installation. It doesn't do dependency management, but it will spit out the scripts that you need to make a particular application run. So I suppose without any further ado, what I should show you is where we're at with that. So we'll just do a new tab. And I hate that when you type your password incorrect. So now it's on SDA1, okay, and actually while we're at it, we should do an fdisk L, and you can see here that this is the drive, and here's the partition file system that's been, or the partition that's been set up for LFS. I didn't redo this per se, I just overrode it with ext4. It still remains GPT as per last time. So what we'll do is mount /device/sda1, just to be safe. We'll mount it read only, and we will -b/mount/LFS. Okay, and it just tells us that it's mounted on there. So we'll cd/mount/LFS ls color equals always no. I always forget there we go. So yeah, basically what I've got here is the base directories that you would expect: bin, boot, dev, etc rather, home. That's not one that you're going to expect, the JHalves there. lib64 because it's 64 bit system, media mount opt proc root. That's not, for those people who don't know, that's the actual root's home rather than the root directory. It's not really that. Run, which is on the tempfs. I think it's on the tempfs. Sys, we're back there with proc. So it's the things that you're probably likely to be interested in. So we have a source download directory. So ls-l source-l. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. I can just type that into the number of lines. You can see 104 line items in there. Lots of stuff. We also have BLFS sources. So cd BLFS sources, and a few bits and bobs in there. I've already put in. I like C URL, so I tend to include it. I had to include glib because I'll just show you. So I was installing IRSSI in there. This is actually the file that you use to check the GPG, the PGP signature for it, and you know, with the latest with Mint, the Mint ISO being delivered as malware recently by third parties getting access to the Mint site, I thought it's kind of prudent, especially given it was an IRC client that they managed to put the exploit into, to use PGP in the form of GPG to check it out, make sure it was 100% dinky die. It's very Australian of me to say that. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically with some dependencies and that sort of thing to get things rolling. So just gonna have a look at the this is the BLFS set of tools that are required to install BLFS packages if you want to use automated Linux from scratch, which, you know, it kind of gets a bit old typing out or copying and pasting all of the data. This provides a neat framework, and it uses the XML copy of the book, the BLFS book. So basically the base install for LFS was pretty much unattended. I didn't need to do much except for type my password in for sudo, and I could have really just set no password on sudo anyway to get all of that stuff done, at least temporarily. But that's a whole security nightmare, opening access to sudo via no password for your user account. It's not a really good idea because you can escalate to root with no password. So it's not something I really wanted to do, but hey, sometimes you know, I'm behind a NAT, so hopefully I'm safe when I have to do that. I mean, when I do install xorg on this LFS install, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to need to do that. So also I wanted to tell you that once I did the base install, and it takes like about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours or something like that. I don't want to have to do that again in case I stuff up. So I'll just go to my root directory. I shouldn't call it my root directory, my home directory from my root account, and you can see here that I've got the LFS LFS there, all tightly bound up in or compressed in LZMA format. You can just do a comparison of that actually. If we go df/device/sda1, you can see that yeah, there's 4.6 gig used, and this usage just probably didn't save that much, you know, save 10% or something. I suppose it's a bunch of binaries anyway, and maybe not that much text, so maybe it's not entirely surprising that the compression wasn't that great. But anyway, that's what's been going on, guys. I've been installing LFS for the last, you know, I say a couple of days, but not really. It's it's pretty much been installing itself using that. And you shouldn't feel like if you're going to use ALFs, you shouldn't do it for the first probably 3 or 4 installs. You probably should just follow the book, understand what the value that Linux from scratch is offering, and once you're very familiar with it, and it's you're only really using it as a reference tool, the book itself, then perhaps it's time to move on to automated Linux from scratch. Bearing in mind you will have to edit the make files, as there are things in there that you might not like. For example, I find myself having to rip out the components of the make file that suggest building the documents that I don't want. I really only want man pages usually. If I really need some documentation, I can usually find it online. I have contemplated for a while. I'll just show you something. Hopefully this doesn't nerf anything up. Shouldn't do. BLFS read and make. No, it won't do it. It doesn't want to play the game when it's not. It's a read-only file system. Okay, so we'll just yeah. So I'm just going to remount it as RW rather, RA, and try it again. Oh, yeah. So I'm not in a proper chroot. I could probably try and chroot into it. Fine. I'm not going to be properly chrooting in, but we'll chroot. Okay, and hopefully this. No, it's not going to play the game. I need to have like the virtual file systems mounted, and I hadn't really prepared for this bit. But basically, you can sit there and say, okay, I want to include every single possible dependency, not just the required ones, not just the recommended ones, but even just tacit dependencies that could possibly be useful. And that could kind of be good, but I'm not sure that it really, meets the purpose of what LFS is about. Minimal system. But LFS is actually, I should say that LFS is really what you want it to be. It's not something that is prescriptive. The developers of Linux from scratch even promote the idea of just trying things. Use a different version of whatever application because you want to, and then if you need some help fault finding on IRC troubleshooting, just tell them I used a different version of blah blah blah, and they might even be able to guide you. They're not going to go, oh, why did you do that? That's terrible. You shouldn't have experimented. Whereas you probably find on other distros, if you said, oh, I ripped out such and such a version of whatever and installed my own version, they'd be like, well, that's not part of the distro, so why are you doing that? And that's what LFS is really about. It's your own journey. Even the likes of like Gentoo, it has limits on what you can install. Like, not really, but what's supported. It's limited in what's supported. What the people online are going to go, yeah, okay, fine, good idea, or bad. To the point where they've even got a masking system that hard masks stuff, and you can't install it unless you unlock the masks or whatever like that. So yeah, LFS is really your own journey. I'm doing the journey again for version 7.9 and thoroughly enjoying it. It's worked out good. It's worked out well, rather. I was going to say there is a bit of an issue with it's not entirely playing the game on boot time. There's something playing up. I don't remember going through this last time, but it says there's something wrong with the clock, and sorry, not the clock, with mounting some of the virtual file system stuff. And it just sits there like waiting for a return, like a line feed return carriage or whatever, and then the enter button, waiting for you to press the enter button, and I don't know why it's doing that, because it is actually mounting those virtual file systems, but it's saying it didn't. So I don't entirely have an answer for that, but it probably just me looking through the book and finding out what I might have done wrong. Because I do things a little bit differently. As I said, the LFS team doesn't say you've got to do it this way. Like for example, I've got grub installed on my LFS, but it's not used. I just use my UEFI to run Linux kernel as a UEFI application. So the long and short of that is basically don't require a bootloader per se. I just require Linux to basically boot from the UEFI, basically obviating the need. So I had to configure the kernel a little bit differently to what if you used Linux from scratch today, it's going to be different. I did it differently. I followed the advice from the Gen2 page on how to do that, how to create what they call an EFI stub, how to make a Linux kernel EFI stub. Anyway, I'm going to complete this video there. I'm just going to finish up there because I don't want to ramble for too long. You guys will not, enjoy it. I just want to say a couple of things too, guys, before we finish up. So we'll just clear the filter on that. See if we'll show all videos. I just want to tell you guys, I'm really happy with the engagement on some of the videos. Like we got 124 views here. 104 views there, 104 views there. It's great. Like 299 views there. And there's some really good ones, like 1,044 views. I'm really happy with that. It's not like it was in my heyday. Like if I show you, perhaps if I go to the channel, look, we've got 290 subscribers now. We started off this year, geez, I think around 240 or 250, and now we've got 290, which is, I'm really stoked that you guys are really engaging with, receiving notifications that I'm doing new videos. Sorry about that. You don't always see that the way it's meant to be. Welcome visitor, message of the day, for the love of source, which is meant to be a bit of a play on for the love of course, which is about open source. Anyway, kind of amusing humour for me. Yeah, if we go into videos, actually, we should go to Creator Studio, Video Manager, and we'll do most viewed. Okay, there's going to be like some ones that are aged. We're talking like 5 years old now, but we're getting some amazing views back then, and I really want to get this channel up to that point again. Even random stuff like this set of circular magnets that I got out of a microwave, just random tech stuff that people were kind of interested in, and the twist tutorials. I don't know if it's a reflection of like whether Linux and GNU and free software are like less, like they're not less popular. That's not true. I think the stats would say it's not true, but less piquing the interest of people. I think that might be a fair point. The closest I've had to those sorts of stuff, that sort of thing is, Savvy on Linux, the 16.02, review. It would be good, I suppose, if we can get up to that where we're getting just mad numbers of engagement from the community. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you a big thank you. I'm going to continue doing this. It's going to be as frequent as it has been. There's no running away here. You're probably looking at 2, maybe 3 videos a week, sometimes dropping down to 1, but mostly going at that cadence. A whole bunch of reasons for that too, like keeping that cadence rather than increasing it, because sort of focusing more on my health and cycling a lot, well not a lot, but about 14k's a day and that sort of thing, and trying to balance my life a little bit between the intellectual pursuits, which obviously I'm keen on, and the physical ones, which I've been less keen on all over the last 10 years, and my body's paid for it. So anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. That's the 3rd time I think I've said that now, and yeah, we'll leave it there now. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel as much as I am producing it, and we'll keep up the rage, we'll maintain the rage, and look forward to producing more for you soon. Let's make sure we get that bod high. Where are ya? Let's make sure we get that bod high going. Okay. Anyway, guys, you have a good day, good night, or whatever you're having, as Daz Grigor used to say, and we'll see you next time.